Hey, welcome to Fluketronic. Up now we're going to do not an unboxing, but a first look at this new instrument. This is instrument 007 from Michael Bretti. This is an ocarina tuned to the key of A. And first of all, I'll say that I am not familiar with this particular fingering system. So if you notice some little warbles or whatever, that's just my fault trying to get used to the instrument. So if you want to get a better picture of what this is capable of doing, I'll give you a link below to Michael's release video. So yeah, any words like that you hear are purely my fault and not Michael's. So today we're going to be looking at this instrument and compare it to a couple of other instruments in my collection. So what do we have here? So this is an ocarina. It's made out of 3 woods, and I'll put those in the little box below. I know the mouthpiece is made of cedar. I think it's maple on the front, and I want to say babinga, but I'm not sure about the back. I'll make sure I get those right. So yeah, just a beautiful instrument as I've come to expect from Michael. I have 2 of his Shun flutes that you've seen on the channel. So the fingering system of this is, according to Michael, is more reminiscent of a transverse ocarina. So the kind of the sweet potato shapes you kind of play like this. I do not own one of those, but if you're familiar with that fingering system, then this should work for you. For me, this is a good bit different in a couple of areas. So if you're coming from, say, whistle or Native American flute, something like that, or even other inline ocarinas, I'll show you my other one in just a moment, this fingering system will take a little bit of getting used to. As you heard in the initial playing sample, it is mainly diatonic, but you'll notice some of these extra holes here make this fully chromatic. So kind of the weird thing about this system, there's 2 weird things. One is the left hand pinky hole, this bottom hole here, and then this little hole right here. Okay, so this little tiny hole actually gets you a note below the fundamental. So this is in A4, so that would get you your A flat or C sharp note at the bottom of the range. And then this pinky hole here, that's actually the top note, right? So you heard it as I played through there. It goes from A all the way up to the octave note is on the top, and then you get the major 9, 10, and 11. 11 is actually lifting that pinky hole. So that's the 2 things to really get used to. Is if you're used to other kind of flutes, you or whistle, you want to raise the fingers one after the other to increase the pitch, but you don't do that here. You want to keep that pinky locked down except for the very highest note, and that does help with stability. So when your right hand is going off and you got other fingers flying off, at least you have that left hand pinky to stabilize the instrument. And then again, the little tiny hole there on the middle finger, right middle finger, because of the size of this, and Michael goes into it on his video, so it's probably the smallest size of ocarina that he can build like this, and I kind of see why, because when I'm playing, if you notice, my fingers are really right up next to each other, and that gave me some confusion the first couple of days, because if you're used to normal flutes or whistles, like I said, you're kind of used to like this. You're used to your fingers being spread out a little, right? So there's a little space between them, but on this ocarina, they are, unless you have really tiny fingers, they're going to be really jammed up next to each other. So not a problem. You just have to know that in order to get fluent on the instrument, which I'm not yet. So that is kind of the two tricks there. And again, because of these tiny holes, that's going to take a little bit of getting used to on the bottom hand pinky, right hand pinky, which would get you the first semitone. I'll try to show you that in a minute. And then that sub hole. So you want to make sure you're not covering that tiny hole unless you're trying to get that very bottom. So let me try and illustrate at least a bit of a chromatic scale. I've not learned all the fingerings and the cross fingerings for all the in-between notes, but I'll try and hit this very lowest note and then the semitone coming up from the root. So let's try to start with the root and see if we can bend down that semitone and or slide down and then slide up for the semitone above that. Let's give that a try. Got it that time. So yeah, very precise and small movements with those fingers to get the little holes. So does work as advertised. Sound is very nice. It's not too loud, but does get plenty of volume, I think. Now I wasn't checking with my tuner today to see where I was, but it does it can handle a good bit of air to get more volume. And again, well, let me just get it. Okay, so I'm going to attempt this time to use the tuner and kind of watch my breath control to see that I'm playing in tune. So let's give that a go. Okay, so as you can see there, it does get a little bit louder as you progress up the scale. The breath pressure is not really that much. It actually feels like it kind of goes down towards the middle. So the kind of the first 3 or 4 notes kind of need a good support to get up to tune. Then it kind of evens out a little bit as you get into the left hand. And then as you get into the upper octave, you need a little more push to get those last 3 or 4 notes. But overall, it's not obtrusive at all. It kind of feels natural as you're playing. So yeah, I think part of that will just be getting the ear attuned to kind of hearing that, or following a tuner like I sometimes have to do. All right, so there we go. Very nice instrument. Let's go ahead and do some comparisons. So the other obvious comparison would be to other inline ocarinas. This is the other one that I have. This is a B flat from Charlie Hind, and you can kind of see a lot of design similarities actually. And of course this is a semitone higher, so it's going to be a little bit shorter. And you can kind of see some of the differences in the fingering systems. This one doesn't have all the double holes that Michael's does, and then the sub hole is actually on the pinky on this one. So this one, very different fingering system. Well, somewhat different. Yeah. But if you don't, so this one you don't keep that pinky hole covered typically. So this one kind of plays up the diatonic scale, really more like you'd be used to from, say, a whistle or recorder or something. So, so this one actually does not have as much range as the Bretti instrument. How far did this go? I think you only get 2 notes above the octave. Yeah, so you get the 2 notes above the octave, whereas you get 4 on Michael's design. So this one is kind of a little bit more akin to the Schoen flutes from Michael in terms of the range. And of course, you don't get the bending capability that you do on the Schoen. So yeah, that's one advantage. You get greater range for this. So it's actually an octave plus a fourth. So in that sense, kind of lies between, say, a Native American style flute like this one. This is key of A Native American style flute, and I'll try to play it. The major scale on this. Except for the very top, so you only get to the minor third in terms of the second octave. So advantage to Bretti on that one. And then if you compare it to, say, an A whistle, this is also an A whistle from Simon Styles. Let's give you a try at that. So that one, I didn't push it all the way up to the full second octave, but it will get there. So if you need that extra range, you might need to go to a whistle, but having an octave and a fourth does give you, and fully chromatic, does give you a lot to play with. So overall, yeah, a lot of good things to recommend this just from a musical standpoint, from craftsman's standpoint, and kind of luthery, if you will. Absolutely no complaints. This is just like all of Michael's releases, this is just a very handsome instrument, if you will. And yeah, could definitely just display this on the wall, or you know, display worthy, we'll put it that way. Okay, so that's about all we want to cover. I guess we'll end this with a little bit of improv, and we'll leave it at that. All right, more later.